Hello everyone, what's the crack? Now, a long while ago, I made a video here along with some Fake Swords updates, and one of them was that I was going to be working on an Empire LARP player event. And well, as you probably know, because it hasn't happened since then, that life, well, found a way by getting in the way of it. But that said, it is now time to fully unveil and announce our sanctioned player event, pending unsanctioned, happening here in Ireland, fully endorsed by your favorite terrible LARP podcast, Fake Swords Real Feelings. The game is called Castles and Contracts, and I am beyond hype for it. So let me hit you with some of the logistical facts about this event, and then let's go into the details of the plot and the event itself so that you can get hyped as well. Now, look, straight up, the main thing to get hyped about is that it's in an actual castle. Yeah, we're not just called Castles and Contracts for nothing, we take our name seriously. It takes place in Sigginstown Castle, which is down in County Wexford in Ireland. So yes, it does mean that if you're coming from the UK, there's going to be a bit of travel involved, but we'll get to that later. It's on the 16th to 18th of October, so hopefully before it gets too cold, and tickets are only €80, which is cheaper than Empire itself, because it comes in at like less than £70. We're also going to have meal tickets available for approximately €50 or so for the full weekend, which is really good value, but we're still working on the details of that. And finally, we don't have it confirmed just yet, but we are actively working towards getting the event sanctioned, which basically means that unlike social events, which are fantastic excuses to get into kit and into character and interact and politic with other players, this event will have a specific PD approved plotline and encounters that will be counted as official canon within the main storyline of the Empire world. Meaning that from a gameplay perspective, there's going to be NPCs, mini games, and social and combat encounters for you to engage with that are real life encounters. I say real life as if it's not a LARP, but you get what I'm saying, right? They are going to be real encounters that could be similar to the ones that you would have in Anvil itself. Let's have a chat about what the plot is and what you'll be engaging with at the weekend, shall we? Starting at the start, what's the game all about? What's its premise, its plot? Well, there's a keep, also known as a castle, which is in the Brass Coast that used to be run by a family known as the Kurhas family. Since the region of Faraz was freed, the owners were expected to return and reclaim ownership of their castle, but they seem to be missing presumed dead in one of the recently liberated territories. So of course now the Freeborn have done what the Freeborn are wont to do and have of course consulted the contract, aka the contract in Castles and Contracts. Do you see what we're doing here? Do you see the kind of way things are shaping together? Yeah, exactly. So basically, they found that in this contract that the Hakama are responsible for finding a new owner for this castle. Now, three families have put themselves forward so far, but there are options there for other groups or even a player to earn control of it. Usually, this would just be yet another squabble for the fine freeborn folk to flutter over, but it does appear that due to the wording of this contract, one of the groups that may be able to stake a claim are the Jotun. And look, as good Imperial citizens, it is obviously imperative that we keep this keep in Imperial hands. But none of these three starting families are willing to just hand it over to any of the other, and so they are seeking advice and support from other Imperial citizens, be that freeborn or otherwise, to help in solving this dispute. And they're doing this by calling a festival of finding. And this is basically a big festival to appoint the new owner, with you as players able to take part in various tasks and things like that to receive tokens from the Hakama, which will allow you to partake in the voting and have an actual say in the future of this castle. And look, that's just the overall setting, right? And why your character might be there or be interested in it as a whole. But there's also going to be a whole host of other encounters and plot lines happening over the weekend that we want you to get involved in, even if your character is not from the Brass Coast. We are planning literally everything from combat to magic, from religion to trading. There's going to be plots of star-crossed lovers. There will be heralds of various Eternals who are interested in the keep and the gathering there for whatever nefarious or non-nefarious reasons they might have. There will be a Donish questing knight who is nearby and needs help, as well as an entire array of other things. In fact, we're actually planning on having a total of 34 encounters across the full weekend, which works out at about one every hour. And with only about 70 tickets available for the weekend as players, that means we will be serving up basically individual plot lines for you to take bites out of. All of the major plots are going to be detailed in what we're calling gusts of opportunity rather than, winds of fortune. These are going to be published on the Heartfire Media website as well as in our Discord, and the first two are available to read right now, which outline both the families and the groups that have staked an interest, and also who the Hakama are who are going to be the deciders of the fate of this keep. Also, did I mention that it's going to be sanctioned? Because honestly, for me, that is a hugely cool thing. That means, in theory, and just in theory, to be clear, that if PD really like this plot, now they have to sign off on it first, and we're pretty sure that they're going to do that, right? We're greasing enough palms to make sure that that happens. But if they really like how the event is run and the plot that we write for it, there's nothing to say that they can't pull from that plot to incorporate into the future Winds of Fortune. The fate of the keep will be something that happens in the main Empire timeline, and I just think that's so cool that our little island nation of Ireland gets to have such an impact on it. And as someone who's a part of a group of people who really move heaven and earth to get all of our stuff over and back to Empire 4 times a year, every year, there is a really nice, strong community of Irish players who, all look out for each other, who all plan together to make this happen, and to be able to kind of bring a part of Empire to our own island and to be able to have ownership of it and have, to stake our claim on it is just a really cool thing to have happen. Hey, look, speaking about making the heaven and earth move to be able to get across to England and go to a LARP every year. Let's have some quick notes and talk about the camping and the logistics before we finish up here. There is going to be both IC and OC camping space. So if getting your bell tent over seems a little bit daunting, feel free to just bring over an OC1 and pitch that. There's going to be no problem with that. And also, if you're traveling solo, we can help you find a camping partner and space in a tent if needed as well. We're also dab hands and very experienced at traveling back and forth via the ferry. And we're going to be doing that at E4 as well. So we can potentially help bring some stuff over from E4 and store it here and bring it back at E1 if needed. But we'll talk about that a little bit closer to E4 and when we kind of get logistics and an idea of who might want that to happen for them. And look, as someone who traveled for the first 2 years of Empire via plane, including all of my camping equipment and my armor, it's entirely doable and actually not that bad to do either. The castle is only about 2.5 hours from Dublin, and look, you can rent a car from the airport, which is probably really handy. It's often what I do when I fly over to Empire as well. But as well, if you wanted, you can get a train down from Dublin city centre down to Rosslare, which is like only a few minutes away from the event site itself, and we can give you a lift from there if you need. Alternatively, an even easier option would be to just take the ferry, which you can get either from Pembroke or Fishguard, and that sails directly to Rosslare, which would just be incredibly handy. It means you can just throw all your stuff into the car. There's a lot less hassle. You kind of just go door to door, and yeah, I can definitely recommend that option to you if you're a driver, and that is something that you can do. All of those travel details are available on our webpage, which I've linked down in the episode description below. So do check those out. There's also information on accessibility, as look, this is an old castle, so it's not 100% accessible. So do check that out if that is a requirement of yours. And look, there's lots of other information available on the website as well. And you can also ask in the Heartfire Discord and just ask any questions directly to me or any of the other team members there as well. So yeah, look, we're super excited about this event. It's a huge labor of love. It is a lot of work going into this, but as I said earlier, it's something that we're all super passionate about, and we hope that you want to join in on that as well. And as I said earlier, tickets are quite limited, and we've already sold a lot despite not giving it that much of a push yet. So if you're interested, check out the website, check out the Discord. Don't delay because, yeah, this honestly is not an event that you want to miss out on. I genuinely think it's going to be super cool. We're going to make it super beginner friendly as well. So if this is your first time, like if you are coming from Ireland and have always kind of wanted to get into LARP, particularly Empire, this is a perfect excuse to kind of dip your toes into it without the full commitment of traveling over to England. And then gives you the winter to get all your stuff together and make those plans if you're really into it, right? And if you're from the UK, it's a perfect excuse for just a nice little late autumn break. Come over to Ireland, have a good time LARPing, and just enjoy yourself all around. That's all from me. I really hope to see you there. Please check out all the links in the description below. And yeah, we got a lot of work to do, so we will see you soon.